I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you.
Yeah!
You have a dog?
And he's such a good boy. Howdy folks, got another Bladeslinger vlog for you, and today we're talking about the new Superman movie, or not really new. This movie has been out for about a week now, and it's actually been a week since I saw it too. Went to see it opening day with my girlfriend, and I wanted to do a video on it right after seeing it. However, I wanted to let the movie sit with me a little bit because, you know, this is a pretty big movie and it is going to, in essence, dictate the future of the new continuity of the DC universe. So I really wanted to think hard about it, and after letting it sit for a week, I'm ready to give my thoughts on it. But first, I guess we should talk about the character and my general experience with him. So, Superman's a character who really doesn't need any kind of introduction. Like, when you think of a superhero, he is probably the first thing that comes to... He's the original superhero, for crying out loud. He started this whole thing. Like, the MCU, it wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Superman, so you have to respect him for that. As part of my own experience with the character... they're very similar to Batman in that I was really into Superman as a kid, primarily because I was growing up right as the animated series by Bruce Timm was airing on TV. So I saw that, and then the team up with Batman, then Justice League Unlimited, a bunch of appearances on Static Shock, and it really made me have a fondness for the character growing up. However, after the DC animated series bit the dust, it seems like Superman media just kind of dried up. The next big thing after that was Superman Returns, which was a continuation of the Matt Reeves movies, which I'm a little embarrassed to admit that I haven't seen yet. But I can't comment on those movies, but I can comment on Superman Returns, and I have to say, it's a pretty dull movie. Like, what everyone says about is true. It is, in essence, just Superman flying around saving people until Lex Luthor breaks out the kryptonite and kicks his ass. I mean, like, it's exactly what the uneducated think a Superman movie would be. And unfortunately, that seems to have set a precedent for the character moving forward. It sort of created what I refer to as the Superman issue, which is how do you make a compelling story centered around a character who is so powerful that there is no chance of them losing the fight or winning the day? And while there are plenty of answers to this question that we have seen from the likes of One Punch Man, Jack Reacher, and Mob Psycho 100, more often than not, people either don't understand it or don't know how to solve the issue. And unfortunately, that's kind of how I feel about Christopher Nolan and Zack Snyder's interpretation of the character, especially since they seem to miss the point in regards to a lot of his morality. Not a big fan of those movies, and like they really, to me, sum up everything that is wrong with the original take on the DC universe. If you can't get Superman right, you probably aren't going to succeed moving forward, which is probably why that continuity has been abandoned. Worse than that, people have also answered the question of the Superman problem with another question. What if Superman was evil? A question that has been answered several times. It is not a new concept. Please stop praising Brightburn. Please stop praising The Boys. And please stop praising all that crap for it. It is not a good concept. Like, just stop it. So when I heard that they were rebooting the DC universe with the Superman movie to start off, I was skeptical of it. Even when it was announced that James Gunn would be taking the helm of the entire shebang, not just the Superman movie, like the entire DC universe, I didn't have a lot of confidence in it, and that's despite the fact that James Gunn directed my favorite Marvel movie, Guardians of the Galaxy. And even when the first trailer for Superman dropped, I was still skeptical of it. I just wasn't sure if he was going to do it right, or if he was just going to make all the same mistakes that everyone else made with the DC movies. But having seen the movie and taken the time to really think about it, I'm happy to report that James Gunn did do it right. The Superman movie actually is really good. Is it a perfect movie? Oh, by no means. It definitely has its issues, and we will get to that. But for the first outing of the Marvel Cinematic... I'm so used to praising Marvel. It's nice that it's a DC movie for a change. Like, I'm excited about that. So, yeah, so let's talk about Superman. So, for those of you who don't know, Superman is Kal-El, or Clark Kent. He is an alien who was sent to Earth to avoid the destruction of his planet when he was a baby. He grew up on Earth and realized that because of the planet's yellow sun, his particular species of alien gained extraordinary powers as a result. And after spending his life learning to use his powers effectively, he decides to reveal himself to the world as Superman, the Man of Steel, protector of truth, justice, and all that good stuff. The film takes place a couple years after he revealed himself to the world as Superman, and things are starting to get really complicated for the guy. He has recently intervened in a conflict between two nations, one of which is an ally of the United States, who Superman mostly directed his attention towards since they were the aggressors in the conflict. And that has the United States questioning if they need to do something about Superman, something that wealthy businessman Lex Luthor has been pushing for a while now. And he just so happens to have finally developed weapons and tactics that are capable of dealing with Superman. So, because of that, and the fact that Lex Luthor eventually gets his hands on a message left by Superman's parents, indicating that he was actually sent to Earth for the purposes of taking it over and restarting the Kryptonian race, a lot of people are turning against Superman as well. So, yeah, it's a very complicated situation for Superman, and he has to figure out what to do about all of it before the whole thing comes crashing down around everyone. Okay, so one of the things I was concerned about as far as James Gunn's Superman movie was that he was going to run from the Superman issue. And unfortunately, I do feel like he runs from that just a little bit. This isn't really the all-powerful Superman that he is supposed to be. I would say it's more in line with how he was in the animated series, where the character does have plenty of limitations. If you hit him hard enough, you will knock him off his feet. He does struggle when lifting something impossibly heavy. He'll still lift it, but it takes him a second. And stuff like kryptonite, lack of sunlight, and extraordinarily powerful foes can still give him a hard time. Also, he needs to breathe oxygen, whereas Superman in the comics eventually doesn't need to do that, so he can just survive off of sunlight alone. I would have preferred if he was the all-powerful Superman, but, it is also nice that they are establishing all the weaknesses and everything. It is sort of going to balance Superman out a little bit and open it up for other characters to have some importance in the series. And also showing that there are still threats in the DC universe that can deal with them. A good example would be Metamorpho in the movie, who I was really surprised to see. That is a very deep-cut character right there. But he's one of the characters who can easily beat Superman because he can turn himself into kryptonite. So, yeah, that was really good. But in general, I do find the plot of this movie to be very well done because it gets to the matter of what made Superman such an interesting character. He is this character who is the very embodiment of good and selfless. A lot of people tend to refer to him as a Boy Scout, which a lot of people say makes him a boring character. But this film demonstrates why it makes him an interesting character, because while he believes in all those righteous virtues, a lot of other people do not. Throughout the movie, everyone is questioning the majority of Superman's actions, namely his choice to intervene in the conflict, because a lot of people say he has no right to. He doesn't represent the United States or the country he was defending or anything like that. And people call him out on it too. And every time it happens, Superman gets really frustrated with it, and for good reason. The reason he intervened is because if he didn't, people were going to die. And, that again is a very Superman thing, because Superman is a character who has all these powers, has no limitations, has no boundaries. He represents nothing but the right thing to do. And really what the film was about is him struggling to continue to do that in the face of so many people who want him to stop, and how eventually some people do rally to his side too. And that also is a good segue into the other superheroes in this movie. When I saw that Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, and Hawkgirl were going to be in this film, I was a little concerned. Were they going to make the mistake that a lot of the other DC movies did, where most of the time they're just dropping names of other superheroes, having them randomly appear so that they could set up future movies? No, the Justice Gang, as they are called in this movie, actually serve a purpose, because it not only establishes that there are other heroes in this world, but that they all don't think like Superman. And what's clever about it is that even though Superman and the Justice Gang aren't on the same team, there is a mutual respect between them, so they will work together without question. Superman doesn't answer to the Justice Gang, but the Justice Gang doesn't answer to Superman, which is why what the Justice Gang eventually decide to do in the movie is so significant, and why Superman is the best superhero among them, because he inspires them to take a stand for the same thing that he does, whereas before they weren't willing to do that because they weren't sure if they had the rights. But as a wise man once said, bad men only succeed if good men do nothing. So yeah, this film is hitting all the right marks it needs to, and it also helps that everyone in this movie is just doing a phenomenal job. The guy playing Superman is just fantastic. It's just like how I remember him in the animated series, which is precisely what I want. His frustrations is very believable. When it does become too much and he flips out, it again is believable. It looked a little silly in the trailers, but in context it does make sense. And the revelation that he may have been sent to the planet for nefarious purposes also hits him really hard. And it also leads to my favorite moment in the entire movie, but I won't dare spoil it. But to make a long story short, it involves his parents, who are beautifully portrayed in this movie. One of the things I hated about the Christopher Nolan movie Man of Steel was how they portrayed Clark Kent's father. Like, it was just all kinds of awful, but they got it right in this movie. They got it so right in this movie. The scene almost moved me to tears. Everyone else is doing a good job. Lois Lane. I especially loved Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. Like, he was just nailing that character. It was also a fun jab at the fans who have been calling for him to play Hal Jordan for so many years. And Lex Luthor in this movie, also really good. Like, he is just perfect as just this billionaire genius who, of course, would have an issue with Superman and everything. They get his motives for why he wants to take Superman down really well. His over-the-top reactions are great. Yeah, it's all just really, really good. Some really good action sequences, too. This is a very well-directed movie. Like, you can see everything that's happening. There's a lot of creativity. They are willing to embrace the weirdness of the DC universe, particularly what surrounds Superman. I always thought it would be better to start with a Batman movie, but I'm glad that they're starting with a Superman movie now, because it just makes sense for them to, reveal the insanity that is the DC universe. Yeah, it's just such a fun movie from start to finish. That being said, I do have my issues with it, and part of me feels that the storytelling is a little sloppy. I kind of wish that the movie opened with Superman interfering with the conflict, so, we can actually see what everyone is so upset about, whereas they just talk about it in the movie proper. I didn't think that there was enough of Superman as Clark Kent. An important thing, if you're going to play this character, is that you need to create a believable disconnect between Superman and Clark Kent. Because what a lot of people don't realize about his secret identity is it's not the glasses that fool everyone, it's the act. Superman is strong, stoic, and noble, whereas Clark Kent is unassuming, kind of feeble, and because he's always running off to transform into Superman, everyone assumes that he's a coward. And we do see a little bit of that in the movie too, but not enough, I would say. And I also don't like the roster of villains that they came up with, apart from Lex Luthor to pit against Superman. The engineer, I feel like she's too easily able to take on Superman. And Ultraman was just a cop-out as well. Yeah, I saw it coming a mile away. I kind of wish that it was another villain, like, Parasite or something. Or maybe have Metamorpho be the villain as well, and maybe Superman turned him to the side of good initially. But, all that is just small potatoes in the grand scheme of things. Like, the Superman movie is just so much fun. It's probably the best thing that DC has done in a long time, and it has me really excited to see what happens next. I don't have a clear idea of what James Gunn's plan moving forward is, but if it's anything like this, it's going to be loads of fun. Just stick to that Marvel formula, find characters in a specific environment, and build movies around them to build the universe. Don't try to do it all in one movie. Like, you're getting it right here. Continue to do it right, please. But yeah, Superman, great movie, and I'm glad it's doing so well at the box office. If you haven't seen it yet, I definitely recommend checking it out, because, this is going to be a pretty fondly remembered comic book movie, I'd say. But that's going to do it for this vlog, guys. I'll see you next time.